students, I'm Aanchal Sharma, your educator. Today we are going to discuss something about API, that is your academic performance indicators, or you can also call it as academic performance index. So this is the index that actually helps you determine what is your proficiency for or to become a lecturer, right? So to become assistant professors, it is mandatory for you to clear UGC NET. So that is the basic eligibility. After clearing UGC NET, either you can go for PhDs or you can become an assistant professor in the university or in different colleges, right? So if you want to do your PhD, we have already discussed the guidelines for the new PhD, right? That was just now released. But if you want to become an assistant professor, your API index or the academic performance indicator would be calculated. So after you have written, it can happen that you have an entrance exam, or it can also happen that you have an interview, right? Also, it can happen that some universities go for academic performance indicators. So this indicator will tell how many candidates would be eligible and how many of them would be called for the interview that would happen. So NET, clearing the NET exam or NET and JRF, whatever you have, is the basic eligibility. That will actually tell that yes, you are eligible to become an assistant professor. But each and every candidate who has NET would again go through a screening process. That is, their API would be calculated. That means their academic performance indicators would be calculated, and on the basis of that, it would be determined whether you would be getting the interview call or not. After you get an interview call, you will go, give your best shot, give your interview, and from that interview, shortlisting of the candidates would happen, right? So this is again a criteria that you have to meet. Now you will see that the indicators are different for the universities, and you can say for the department and for the different colleges, right? So what is department? So we have one English literature department. Department is when it is in the university, while there are, that is, the arts faculty is the department, right? But there are different colleges as well affiliated, like say Hansraj, or you can say Hindu. Now in these colleges, there you need teachers for English literature. So that is, if you are going to teach in the college, then you have a different API index. And if you are teaching in the department, that is in the arts faculty, here in the example we are talking about, then you have a different API index, right? So we will be calculating and looking at both of these indexes. So academic performance indicator. So it is a criteria for shortlisting candidates for interview for the post of assistant professors. And this criteria that we are first discussing is for the department of the university. So what happens here? So each and every person who has already cleared UGC NET or NET and JRF would also have published their papers, or you can say research papers, or their articles, or maybe written some articles in the books, etc. Right? So all of these things would be having different scores, and on this basis, there would be one eligible candidate selected for the post of assistant professor. Also, it depends on the number of vacancies that they need. So what is basically this record? So the first thing that they will look for is your graduation. So if you have 80% and above, you will be given 15 marks. So at the end, you would see that all these marks would be calculated together, will be added, and then on the basis of that, the indicator would be decided. So each college or the department would say that we want candidates to fill the forms whoever can score at least 50 marks, right? If you have at least 50 marks, then we all want you to fill the form. And for those people who have 50 and above would be given the interview call. So then from these, say 3 students are lying in this criteria. So those 3 students would be having the interview, right? So this is how the screening process happens. So the first is the graduation. If you have 80% and above, then 15 marks would be awarded. If it is 60% to 80%, then 13. And if you have 55 to 60, then 10. 45% to 55%, then 5 marks would be awarded. So you will see the categorization in this way only. This is in the graduation. Then in the post-grad, you will see 80% and above, 25 marks, 60% to 80%, 23, 55%, and this is for the case of if you are in the reserved category, that is SC, ST, OBC or PWD section, then 50 would be the criteria for you. If you have 55 to 60 or 50 to 60 depending on the criteria, that would, their marks would be 20. Then if you have MPhil, so NEP 2020 has decided to do away with this MPhil thing, but for those who have already done their MPhil, this would be very much calculated. So if you have 60% and above, 7 marks would be awarded to you. If you have 55 or less, right, then 60%, then 5 marks would be given to those students who have done their MPhil till now, right, till the time this criteria of MPhil being redundant is started. Okay, then what is for PhD? So when you are getting API score calculated for the department, you will see that PhD holds 30 marks, which is the criteria which holds the most marks. That is why doing your PhD becomes so important. This will create a considerable amount of difference between you and the other holders, right? So you will see that whoever has their PhD, that person would be way ahead than the other person. Okay, then the person who has net and JRF would be given 7 points, while if you only have net, then 5 points would be awarded to you. Then you also have marks for research publications. If you have research publications, 2 marks for each research publication would be given, and your publication should be in a peer-reviewed or a UGC listed journal, right? If that is possible, if that is done, then 10 marks would be there awarded to you. If you already have a teaching experience, teaching and postdoctoral experience, 2 marks for 1 year each would be given to you, right? So if you have 2 years of experience, so 2-year experience, that means 2 marks for each year. You will have 2 plus 2, 4 marks here. So you can have maximum up to 10 marks, right? Then if you have any awards, that is international award, or you can say national level award, or maybe government level award through a recognized society or a recognized organization, then 3 marks can be awarded to you. Then if you have any state level award, 2 marks can be awarded. So this is how you will calculate all these marks, put them together, and you need to follow the benchmark. If you are following that benchmark and you are lying on that benchmark or above, then they will call you for the interview. Okay, now what if the shortlisting of the candidates is done for the post of assistant professor in the colleges, right? So if the colleges are offering the post, then you will see the major change is in the PhD. So if you are in the college, if you are doing the interview for the colleges, then you will see graduation marks. If you are scoring 80% and above, then 21 points are given to you. If it is 60% to 80%, 19 marks are awarded. And if you lie 55% to 60%, then 16 marks would be awarded. And if you lie in 45% and less than 55%, 10 marks would be awarded to you, depending on the criteria and the marks that you have. If we talk about postgrad, then 80 and above, if you lie here, then 25 marks would be awarded. 60 to 80, 23 marks. 55 to above 255 to 60, 20 marks would be of course awarded to you. But if you are from ST, SC, OBC, PWD section, then 55 would change to 50. And we have already discussed in the minimum eligibility criteria as well that for the reserved category, the minimum marks that they require is 50%. Also in the masters, to appear for UGC NET exam, they require 50, while the general category people require 55. So if you lie here, then 20 points would be given to you. Then if you have MPhil, again the rule applies here as well. So NEP 2020 said that PhD would be there and MPhil would be disqualified, right? So what will happen if MPhil is not there? No marks would be awarded to the upcoming people, right? But if you already have done your MPhil till now, till the time it is discontinued, then the marks would be awarded to you. If you have 60% and above, 7 points would be given. 55 to less than 60, 5 points would be given. Then if you have PhD here, you saw that it was 30 when you were applying for the university or for the department. But if you are applying for the colleges, it is 25 points. Still a lot of points, right? So you have to score good in your exam. Give your exam with full zeal and enthusiasm so that you clear JRF in the first go. So you would have NET with JRF. Both the lines would be open to you. Either you can do your PhD from a good recognized universities, with you will also be having the stipend, right? And then you can easily apply for the jobs because a considerable difference is created if you have PhD as compared to the person who is not having PhD, right? So if you have NET with JRF, then 8 points are given, while if you only have NET, 6 points are awarded. If you have again a research publication, 2 marks for each research paper or publication can be awarded to you. But again, it is important that you publish that paper in a peer-reviewed or a UGC listed journal, right? It should be recognized by UGC and it should be under the UGC care list. So before publishing your papers, always look for the UGC listed journals. If that lies, the journal you are targeted on lie in the UGC criteria, then 6 points would be awarded to you. If you have a teaching experience or a postdoctoral experience, 2 marks for each year would again be awarded. So maximum up to 10 points you can have in this criteria. Then comes awards. If you have a national level award, then 3 points. If you have a state level award given by any state, then 2 marks can be awarded, right? So what is the basic difference that we discussed in this video? First of all, API, that is Academic Performance Index, is an index that will differentiate each person from another who is the most eligible to have that job of assistant professor, right? So you have to have a good API score as compared to the other candidates. So the minimum eligibility is you having your UGC NET qualified. That is only a minimum criteria. After that, you need to have good paper publishes, right? Then you need to have your PhD done or at least started. Then you also should have some kind of work experience or awards from at least from a national level or a state level. If not, you can compensate all these things by writing good research papers in a UGC care listed journal or a peer-reviewed journal. You also get paid, right, if you publish your paper in good journals. So it is advisable to write more, right? Start writing from the very beginning and publish your papers, because this will award you points and this will create a lot of difference. But the game changer here is your PhD. And how is the dream of holding PhD possible? If you study hard, clear UGC NET with JRF, because having your JRF certificate will make it very easy for you to enroll yourself in PhD. So keep smiling, keep studying, and start studying more for this exam, because this exam will take you one step ahead than what others are doing, and you will definitely become an assistant professor. Thank you.